What's up, everyone? Welcome to Walsh's Playbook. That's former Raiders offensive coordinator Tom Walsh. I'm Grant Cohn, and the last time we spoke, we were talking about how the Niners just might go to the Super Bowl. We thought the Niners would beat the Seahawks. We thought they learned something, but we learned something that the Niners are not nearly as good as Seattle. Tom, in your eyes, what was the meaning of that 41-6 blowout defeat?
The hardest thing, Grant, is there are so many areas for which I have a concern. And, it tells me that they have a much farther road to travel than they think they have to get to where they want to be or where they should want to be. And to be honest, I don't know if their leadership is willing to make some of the steps and take some of the action that it needs to take to be able to allow the ball club to get to that point for next season.
Yeah, I was at that postseason, like this end of year press conference yesterday, and it really felt like John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan were patting themselves in the back, like no one thought we could do it this year, and we did it. And sure, we didn't go that far, and the last game was, not what we wanted. But I mean, we're getting guys back next year. Of the future is so bright. And then Steve Young went on the radio yesterday, and his point was like, look, you were 12-5 this year, you were 6-11 the year before that. The two teams were pretty similar. The 6-11 year, you had some breaks go against you. The 12-5 year, you had some breaks go for you. But it looks kind of like a 9-8 team to me. That's what Steve Young said, and I feel like that's what this. You didn't just lose to Seattle. You got wiped off the freaking field, and you lost in 13 seconds.
Yeah, you get destroyed. The thing about it is, I hate to say it, the hardest thing to do as a coach, and even for Lynch as a GM, is to take and peel back the layers of the onion, so to speak, and take a hard, long look at your coaches, at your organization, at your draft process, at your free agent signing process, at your roster, and to be able to say, regardless of how aligned at the hip I might be with a particular player, for example, it's time to shed that player. And I don't know if those two guys, meaning Lynch and Shanahan, have, okay, I don't know if they have the cojones to be able to make that determination. Can they make that move? Can they separate? Can they be a professional coach, a professional GM, rather than a personal relationship with a player? That's the point. You get too tight to these players, too buddy, too friends, the Cabo click and all that crap. And then, you know what? You can't cut them when you should have cut them, and they end up cutting your throat, not because they want to, but because they have surpassed their expiration date as a player for you to be able to contribute to your organization, to be able to contribute to the success of your ball club. For this year, for example, Grant, we've talked about this from day one. They had the best schedule of any team in the NFL. Okay. Now, granted, they had injuries with Purdy and his, big toe and all that, but Mac Jones played admirably as a replacement. They had other injuries. They didn't pace players well. They overplayed guys with reps. They didn't develop some of the younger players to contribute in games when they needed them, because Kyle ends up playing the guys he likes and he runs them, like till they're like a nag. But those are issues that they need to analyze. And I tell you what, if they don't change at the top, nothing at the bottom is going to change. Next year, they're going to have a tougher schedule because they finished higher up this year. They weren't the basement dweller they were the previous year. So they're going to have a tougher schedule. So that's right off the bat. Secondly, a lot of key players who were aging to begin with are going to be even another year older and or coming off of more surgeries. And so they've got some issues.
I mean, they can say, look, we gave up 41 points, but we're missing so many players on defense. The defense will be better next year. Yeah, but this game also revealed that the offense has major issues as well. And I think that's what's alarming. 6 points. And is it that Kyle Shanahan doesn't have the schematic answers against Mike McDonald? possible. We can talk about that in a second, but I think what was so obvious is that there is a talent discrepancy between Seattle and the 49ers. Seattle has all these young players who are stars. Guys on their first contract who are top 10 players at their position. Devin Witherspoon, Nick Eman Gray Zabel, on and on and on. The Niners have none. No young stars on their rookie contracts. And that's a huge problem. It's because they haven't drafted well this decade. That's a big
Well,
difference.
okay. The other thing that's key now, and I will bring up a little bit of a sore point probably to the franchise. You traded how many first round draft picks and other draft picks for Trey Lance? You blew 3 picks. So now you wonder why your roster is a skeleton of Pro Bowl talent. You gave away 3 potential Pro Bowl players for a kid who, for whatever reason, did not pan out as your quarterback. So your cupboard's bare in that regard. So that is a huge, that's 3 Pro Bowl potential starters that are not on your roster. They're somewhere else in the league, but they're not wearing 49er colors. And so that's, and then the other thing is they've had, unfortunately, to be honest, they've made some big bust in early round draft picks. I mean, I go back to some of the players they've taken over the years who crapped out because of injuries or other issues. They've squandered draft picks in the first 2 rounds. They've come up empty. I mean, think about this. Go back through their draft. Tell me now who's playing as a starter on that roster who was a first round draft pick in the last 3 years.
Only guy is Ricky, and I don't know that he's going to be on this team next year.
You're talking about Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah.
Right now, he's a medical question mark to me. I can't count him as a surefire, block as a first round draft pick who's panned out for me. The guy's been in the training room more than he's been on the field. So, I mean, name me another guy. Go
Mikael
back
Williams
4
in the
years.
training room. Mikael Williams is in the training room. Brandon Ayuk is gone. Javon Kinlaw is gone. McGlinchey's gone. Solomon Thomas is gone. Reuben Foster's not in the league. I mean, they don't have any.
They don't have anybody. So think about that. How many what's that, 5 or 6 guys?
Yeah.
Who are, not even seen or not even in the organization.
Oh, he's hurt too.
Yeah, Bosa's also recouping from another ACL. So they really, to be honest, you can't name a pick in the last 5 or 6 first and second rounders who's producing now for this ball club.
No. One more thing that Steve Young said. I'm always interested to see what Steve says in the Niners because he's smart and he's invested. He said that even when healthy, this is the third best team in the division. And the Niners have to be honest about that. Even when Nick Bosa and Fred Warner come back, the meaning of this loss to Seattle is that you're the third best team in the division because you haven't developed any young stars, and the Rams and the Seahawks have. And until you do, you're going to be behind them. And that could be, years.
The other thing too now, think about the trades the Rams have made over the years and look at the lower round draft picks they have made who have panned out for them, who have become starters and significant contributors. You take this kid, Puka Nacua, the guy was a 5th round draft pick. Okay. Mm-hmm. The guy's lighting it up in the league. What, he had 129 catches this year for 1,700 something yards, 10 touchdowns or whatever. You could add up.
Kyron Williams was the 5th round pick as well.
You could add up the whole Niner receiver core, and can they equal the production of one Puka Nacua?
No.
Not even close.
No.
Not even close.
Puka Nacua is what the Niners wish Juwan Jennings was, but he's not.
And see, so the thing about it is, besides the players who they have, I'm concerned about who's making the draft picks and on what basis they're evaluating this talent, because right now they've been peeing down their leg the first couple of rounds of drafts for the last 4 or 5 years.